Morning and good afternoon, everyone here. I'm Samir, representing Zelight Solutions. So, to brief about Zelight Solutions, we are almost a decade-year organization, primarily into enterprise solutions and a full software development. So, for enterprise solutions, we have partnered with Microsoft. We are a Microsoft Silver partner when it comes to Microsoft Dynamics 365. We've been working on areas of Dynamics 365 CRM, project automation, field service automation, Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate. So these all Dynamics 365 plus the Power Apps and Power Flow as well, along with Dynamics. We are also SharePoint implementation partner as well. So when it comes to Microsoft, the enterprise product, we almost cover all the enterprise range of their products. Currently, we are a team size of around 100 people, developers out here, consultants and developer. Our offices are based in UAE and Singapore as well. Our development center happens to be in Pune, India. And joining in my call, I have Ashish, who is the delivery manager. Then Gaurangi, who is our marketing manager. Then we have subject matter expert as well joining in this call. Nirav. Nirav is outside of at a client side, but still he's able to make up the his time to give us a walkthrough about the product as well. And then we have Javed, who is our techno-functional consultant for D365.
Over to you, Aida. Thank you very much, Ashish. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, colleagues. Samir, Ashish, all of you. Thank you very much for taking the time. As Ariel mentioned, I'm one of the two of managing directors at R. It's a moderate to middle-sized company. We're about 25 in headquarters. However, our approach or our projects are worldwide, and we're dealing with a big variety of clients, both our financing clients or donors, but also directly counterparts with ministry governments that we work with. As well, in addition, we have hundreds of experts and SMEs and external freelancers that we work with. So we have a big network of clients, and that is how this need comes to us, that we have realized soon enough that we would need a proper client management system to manage the resources that we have, and we're dealing with quite an extensive network of resources that we would work with. From my side, yes, I'm not from the IT department, but of course being one of the managing directors for decision making purpose, I've attended, so I would be very interested to see the application of this. Without going too much into the details of the functionalities, for us, it's really about what can we get from this in terms of assisting us in process management, both in project management, acquisitions, client management, and so on. So very much looking forward to your presentation today. And I'm happy that Arion and our ITC team, digital team, has brought us together for this interesting presentation. Thank you.
Perfect for the quick intro here, Aida. So just to brief about all this, the product that what we are going to walk you through. This is a project operation module of D365. Earlier it was called as project service automation. So this particular product, previously known as project service automation, connects the entire team within your organization by unifying all the aspects of project-based services with one flexible solution. So that's an overview of this product as in like what capability it has. Of course, we'll walk you through all the features at a very high level to make you understand like how it can be useful for you as an organization, what all feature it has. So over to you, Ashish and Nirav, if you can walk us through all these details about the product features.
Yes. Hi guys, Neerav here. Uh, okay, so basically this product, as Samir has said, it is also focusing towards the project management and how they are. So here is a project dashboard which gives us a understanding of the cost of the project that we have been. So we had added some plan or some assumptions saying that okay, this is the estimate of the project cost, and as against of that the actual project cost, how and what is happening, that is divided month by month. So this kind of dashboards are available, and more dashboards can be created in this particular project this thing in this dashboard. Secondly, there is also a resource dashboard available which will help you to understand that how your resources are actually engaged in which all different projects, right? So that is there. So Ashish, can you just open a resource dashboard if we have? Okay, yeah. So here, basically, you can understand that how every resource is being utilized into which project. A particular resource can be utilized by one project or multiple projects. So all those utilization and the cost of that resource as against of that utilization is also identified over here in this particular dashboard. Okay. Then we have other dashboards which are related to sales and CRM. So that Samir will take ahead. But then we can go ahead to how the projects are described over here. So here you can create n number of projects. As you said, you have
Yes,
multiple
please.
different projects.
This is extremely important, Nira, to see
Uh-huh.
how projects, because the dashboard we all have an understanding. We use dashboard that are generated through various applications. But in this
Yes.
case, our interest is to see the end-to-end process. So how we set up the project and with resources, with timelines, with tasks, and in the end, how we monitor it through the dashboard. Because this is the added value we are looking for. We have bits and pieces of all these things, the dashboards and the various project management tools, but we are interested to see how it all comes together under Microsoft Project Automation. Over.
Yes, yes, yes. So basically, here we can create a project where we can give the project details like a name of the project. Then, say if you are using some particular template, this default work template means, say, consider that you have your office timings are from 8 to 5. So that can be identified based on which we can understand that how many hours a resource is going to work or how many hours this project is going to take for on a daily basis. So that is there. Then that is for the calendar template. Then we have currency which you can identify, saying that this particular project is in some different currency in some different countries, so their currency would be there. That can be added. uh, then you can have a project manager defined who is going to handle this entire project from here, from the application perspective. And you can also Ashish, can you take a bit up, yeah. So here you can also provide the estimates, like the estimated start date, the estimated finish date, expected effort or hours. Okay, expected labor cost. See, whenever we add a project or we take a project, we have this understanding that what would be the cost of this project, what would be the, by when we are supposed to end it. So all this initial understanding of the project is supposed to be added over here, right? So estimated expense or material cost or whatever you have estimated. So that
But
estimations are there.
one question
Hmm.
here. This is the total cost, or we can also break down cost by project component, because that is the most important to have the cost breakdown, not just the overall estimated cost. Over.
Yes, yes, yes. See, in projects, there are two breakdowns available. That is, one is CBS, cost breakdown structure, and second is WBS, that is work breakdown structure. Okay, this is available in any project. Whenever you define a project, these two things you have to define. But uh, here you have to add a initial understanding of the project, and then later on in details we can add each and every task. With task we can also add the resources utilization, the cost for that task. Every in detail you can add those details in each and every individual tasks. So that is there. Here it is expected to add a initial understanding of the project. Okay, that is for comparison perspective. So tomorrow if you want to
Excellent,
compare.
excellent. No, no, it was mine. So I jumped ahead. So it's okay. Perfect. Please, it's
Okay, great.
fully understandable.
Yes. And on the right hand side, there are actuals. So whenever the project has started, right, your first task has started, you have mentioned that, okay, the project has started. So those actual dates will come over there automatically. So which will also include actual start, actual finish, the labor cost actual that you have incurred, the material cost, any other expenses cost, and the total cost. So all these aspects are covered in the project automation. Okay. And then can you go below, Ashish? Yeah. So here you will understand the current status of the project. That what is the current status of the project, whether it is on time, whether it is not, means it is delayed, and by how many days it is delayed, right? And what was the last updated date when this status was updated. So all these details are, you can find it out over here. So this is how you can create a basic project. Okay. Now then there are tasks. As far as I understand, whenever a project is defined, okay, at that time every company or every organization has the list of tasks available with them to complete that project, right? So all these tasks can be added over here initially, and then for every task you can assign the resource, you can assign the cost, and you can assign the material cost also over
Uh,
here.
Nirav, let me open
Mhm.
existing.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yes. Meanwhile,
mm,
we can go to team. So here
yeah.
you can define the team. So now tell me one thing. Is your team going to be your core team, or is it going to be other contractors also? Like you would be subcontracting your jobs, right?
Yes, just to explain that the team members could be project managers sitting in
Hmm.
headquarters, but that is not the main implementation where we have to report on to the client. So it's mainly resources that these are freelancers, experts from outside. It could be
Right.
in-house, but it also are outside. But then there's a differentiation. There is the budgeted ones where the project
Yes.
budgets budgeted experts, but then there might be project managers, finance people who are also investing resources on it. So I guess here you
Hmm.
refer to internal resources, right? Employees that are
No,
managing the
it
source.
depends. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It here it is mentioned as internal employees, but most probably in almost every large project there are subcontractors or there are other vendors to whom some activities of the projects are provided. Right? They are shared with them, and they are supposed to complete those activities also. And here we provide a facility where you can have either employee or you can have it subcontracted to some subcontractor's name, where you can, on the right hand side, if you see, there is a subcontractor this thing, and whether that subcontractor is valid or not valid till now in your organization. So all these details are over there. So that is why I asked this, because you would outsource certain activities, so that also can be tracked over here. Okay. So here we have, you can add those resources also individually. You can add a subcontracting resource and your own employee also. Then you can add whether this resource is bookable, that is whether he is active, and whether you can have a whether you can book him for one particular project or for multiple projects. So that kind of facility is there. Then his role in the project, what kind of role he is carrying, for which unit he is working. Okay. And all these details of an individual resource is added over here. And these resources are team members basically.
Okay, so here
Okay.
you don't have the resource in terms of monetary resource for this one. It's only to list the people who are working on it. Because for
Yes,
us,
yes, yes.
yeah, okay, okay,
Means monetary are there. See, there are, but here we are defining only the team
yeah,
members.
the team. Yes, I understood.
Right. Okay.
Ashish, you
Then,
might want to. I'm sorry, Nirav. Ashish, you might want to click on that
yeah, yeah.
employee arrow out there, so we'll get the breakdown of this. Yeah. So basically, here, if you see here, we can have this particular employee. What task has been assigned for this employee, and then the bookable, whether it's a bookable resource or non-bookable, meaning billable or non-billable, the role, and then the organization unit that it belongs to. For example, let's say there is a child and parent or kind of hierarchy in your organization, so we can actually align this to a particular business unit or an organization unit out there. So this all information can be displayed here, is displayed here in the project team. Yeah, Nirav, sorry, go ahead.
Thanks, Samir. Thanks for the update. Okay. So this is how you can add the teams. Then you can go to resource assignment. Ashish. Okay. So So here basically, so here currently there are no resource assignments done, but in this page, what you can understand is that which resource is assigned to which project and what kind of work he is supposed to do, right? So that is a part of resource assignment. Then there is a resource reconciliation. Okay, that resource reconciliation is to basically understand that for whatever purposes you have added that resource, so let it be the cost or hours or tasks, whether all those cost hours and tasks are as per the expectation or not. Okay, so basically I'll give you an example. Say I am supposed to work for 8 hours on a particular project, okay, on daily basis for say 20 days, so it becomes 160 hours. So here you can come and reconcile, saying that whether those 160 hours have been added by Nirav or not for that project. So that reconciliation is done over here. Okay, so this is there. Then there are estimates. So here you can add the estimates by a resource or by just a minute, just a minute.
Hello, Ashish. Can you please open the three shops construction project? There we have the data available.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm really sorry. Uh, so here you can see the estimates, and that estimates is for a task. So for every task, you can define there is a main task and subtask. For every task, you can define start and end date, and you can also add the cost, the quantity, and everything over there, right? That is including the time, the hours, the cost price on daily basis. So here you can add the estimates on daily basis also. Okay. Then there is tracking of the estimates.
Fine. So in terms of tracking, you can see like, we have this tracking functionality here, which allows you to track all these activities which are assigned to a particular project. And then for all of these activities, basically, there is an effort which is allocated. There is an effort which has been consumed, the remaining and the completion of the entire activity. Like we can see as a project plan, like how many percentage it has been completed, and how many effort it has taken to complete this particular percentage. So Ashish, if you can scroll to the right side, please. Yeah, and then the most important part is the variation part. So we can see the variation. For example, if the if the allocated time for a particular activity goes beyond, so we can see the variance which is happening there, which is in the schedule variance column. And then we have this effort estimate at a complete level as well. So these all basically we have as in like for tracking purpose here. And then the tracking can be done through effort. So Ashish, if you can click on the tracking, next to tracking, there is a drop down there on the grid. Yeah, and then we can track it by cost as well. So if you want to see like how a particular cost is being going ahead with, what is the cost rate and what is the bill rate, and how it is going in terms of for each activity, whether what was the planned cost, what is the remaining cost for this activity, and what cost it is going to take to complete this entire activity. So this is how we can actually see the breakdown of all the activities for a given particular project. Any questions you have, guys, here?
No, I think it's clear.
Saeed and Ibrahim.
Yeah, for me,
Yes,
it was
Saeed
more...
and Ibrahim.
Okay, Ariel, I think it was more your question that you asked in the beginning, which is important. How easy is it that we can also tailor it to our needs, the different resource and so on, the way our contracts are structured? I think that you have answered that's easy to tailor it or customize it accordingly. To have sections like the budgeted and non-budgeted sections, but these are all things that you can easily customize. That's what I understand from you, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next tab would be the sales one. So if you can go to the sales, Ashish. Yeah, so basically here we will see all the project contract. So this particular project contract would be based on the product that are aligned to this particular project, and the billing method, whether the billing method is, maybe Ashish, if you can just quickly maybe add some record here, and we can see the information that needs to be filled in. Also, we'll have to add the record at different level. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's a grid one. So if you can click on that right in product and then just click that column, I think that should be a editable one.
No. This is the grid. So this record is coming from other place.
All right. So basically, what happens is all the when we do a sales, we in the sales tab. Maybe Ashish, if you can just go to the, I'll just moving from this particular screen to the sales screen, so that you will get to know that what connection we have for the sales record here. So let's go to sales here. Again, we'll come back to this particular screen. So what happens is we directly jumped onto the project, but prior to the project, there would be sales which would be happening there. So for sales, we will have all these options in terms of the quotations and all. So maybe Ashish, if we can go to the opportunity, any of this opportunity, yeah. So it goes through a cycle, like we have a lead. Once lead is qualified, gets converted into an opportunity. The quotation happens.
Sorry to interrupt. You went already to the client management, right? Can we see the dashboard of the projects once you have completed the entry? I think I missed that.
You're saying dashboard for the sales or dashboard for the
the project management that you had earlier.
Yeah. So Ashish, yeah, you can go to the home screen and then these are the dashboards. Yeah.
This is the dashboard for
practice management, basically that the project practice. And then we have dashboards, dashlet for this one as well, resource manager. So let's see if I'm a resource manager, I can see how this particular resource utilization is happening here. The laborers, then the team members out there, and the utilization by the roles.
Okay, so you have different screen. One resource manager. Is there a sort of overarching manager where I can see several of the project to see where we stand and so on?
Absolutely. And then this again can be highly customizable, so we can add multiple dashboard as well. Now at the moment what we are seeing are the two dashlets, but then
it's
if you for the demo purpose, but at a real life you'll always see the project versus actuals versus budgeted, and also those kind of also dashboards can be seen out here the moment you log in.
Okay, continue to the client.
Sure, thanks. So Ashish, we can just go to the sales one quickly and then go to the opportunities. Yeah, all opportunities, service.
So the leads are a list of clients, is it? The various leads. Can you go to the leads?
Sure.
That is various leads that the person is having, and the topics where, and what does it give you? It's in more new created on.
So lead will give you information about the sales that is happening with that particular lead. So for the sales discussion that is happening with that particular lead. So Ashish, if you can open any of this one quickly. Yeah. So here we'll get the information about all these all the leads here. So what happens whenever the activity happens on a particular lead, that can be an email communication, that can be a phone call, that can be a task. All these particular activities can be listed out here. And then let's see, if I'm a manager, I want to see what my sales team is doing. I can simply go on to this particular lead and then see the timeline here. So timeline basically gives me all the details about how this lead was generated and what activity has happened on this particular lead. And when the lead start progressing, so when I see that there is a requirement, I'm trying to build the particular requirement, sending the quotation, then there is a negotiation stage which is happening there. So all this thing basically is driven through a workflow. So as you see, the red ribbon out here, the qualification, if you can just expand that, Ashish. Yeah. So this basically will allow you to define your own sales cycle for this particular leads or this particular process. So you know what is the estimated time frame, what is the purchase time frame, what is the purchase process, whether it's an individual, committee, And as a salesperson, it's important for me to identify the decision maker with whom I'm interacting with. So all this information can be captured here. Again, this is highly customizable. The one that you are seeing is a default system with a default process, but most of our customers basically have their own process, and we customize or attune the entire process based on their needs. Now this phase happens to be the qualification phase. Once the qualification happens, it is converted into opportunities. So that is basically the development. So once you qualify this particular lead as an opportunity, yeah, so this lead gets converted into an opportunity. Yeah. So once it is opportunity, that means there is a set requirements, and then we are in a process to bid this particular opportunity in terms of proposal submissions, RFP submission, RFI submissions, and all. Now here we have this opportunity lines. So if you go to this opportunity lines, Ashish, yeah, so here we can add the products. So your products can be all these components that needs to be added for this particular opportunity. So that can be your manpower, that can be the for example, like, you know, if you are installing any particular infrastructure for a hospital or a healthcare segment, so all the components required for this can be broken down out here as a part of your opportunity line, and then you come up with a cost, propose it to the client as a quotation. Once the quotation is approved, then it gets converted into an order, and then the project delivery starts. So yeah, this is how we basically create the opportunities, and then the opportunity once added gets converted into quotation. The quotation happens, and then Ashish, if you can go to the quotations as well again. Now when there is a revision happening into the quote, so there can be some additions or deletions into the particular quote items. All this basically is stored into the your CRM system, into this particular system, through quote number generation. So they have, each new quote that is generated has a unique number, and all the quotation that has generated for this particular opportunity are stored in the system. So tomorrow, if you want to see if there was any deviation earlier when it was at an initial discussion phase, so you can see like how the quotation has been changed based on the needs and based on the requirements or the discussion that you had with the client. So everything what you have in the system becomes a black and white for you to make sure that like, you know, meaning everyone in the team, and right from your client and right from your internal team, are on the same page when we have all these details about the communication and the quotations submitted to the client. Any questions here so far?
Ibrahim, as you have been working quite a lot on our business processes, do you have some particular, or you, Albana, some particular question or comment?
It's quite, thanks, Serion. It's quite clear so far. I mean, I see in all of these pages, in the different buttons, I see automation opportunities. So I assume these we can integrate them with Power Automate flows or with Power Apps or with Power BI dashboards. But I know that for Dynamics, this is, you know, like it's one of its selling points, basically. Yeah, but besides that, all is clear so far. I would be curious about the implementation of such an app or a system. So, you know, how do we go about it? So we see all of these. So now we went through the projects and we saw how, yeah, we can qualify it and move it forward. That fits, I think, our business needs, and they are customizable. But if we want to go forward with this, how would we go forward with it? Where would we start, basically?
Ibrahim, I think that maybe we can discuss also internally, you know, in terms of how we start. Is it piloting? Is it how do we need to customize it and so on?
Maybe I misunderstood. I didn't mean the actual implementation. So what I'm saying is that this Dynamics, it has all these different tables, and clearly there are underlying concepts behind them.
Yeah.
And
understood.
Okay, yeah. I can raise it later.
No, I got your point. Yeah, but maybe it's for the bigger group to answer as well. I have the similar
I
question.
think that it's clear now that Samir would like to. Yes, yes. So what is your business model? Yes, please, Aida.
No, I was going to just to for them also to see, especially this part where there's a leads and opportunity. This is where the sales platform there is. I think it's something which we would need to adjust with our processes for you to understand, Ashish and Samir. This we don't have products as such that we products for sale. However, our sales process is, like you mentioned, it's a proposal writing, RFP responding, proposal writing, business development, which was so far our project management, and the proposal or new business development was somehow split. It's a different team is taking care of business development, and then project management comes to another project management team. However, that is also not the ideal scenario. The proper way to have done it is also to have it in such an integrated, and there might be, of course, different business proposals that we do which don't entirely fit here because it's a bit complex. It's not a product sale. It's not something one person does, but it's rather a big team working on a new project proposal. But definitely the leads, every project management should have projects that we are, following up for a long, discussing with clients and so on and so on. That is definitely a good addition to our process. And looking at the opportunities. The moment it becomes to an actual opportunity, then it goes into a proposal development process. Then I want to understand now the next one. As soon as a project becomes a contract, then we go back to it. It links to the project as a management, or how does it link? The linking is now where I would like to see. You have the quotations, project contracts, once a contract. Okay, go ahead. I think you have not completed it, so maybe it answers my question.
Right. So what happens, let's say when the project is won, so let's say we have bidding, we have done the RFI, RFP, everything, and then the final outcome comes that the project has been won. So we have two options here. So Ashish, if you can just scroll up to the right topmost side of this particular one. We have the one which we talk about, which is above, like closers won and closers lost, right? The above the ribbon side. Up. Yeah, so here you can see there are two options here. One is closers won and closers lost. So the moment we say that, okay, we have received the entire, we are signing the agreement, we have signed the agreement and everything with the client now, and the prospect is becoming our client. So we'll mark it as won. The moment we mark it as won, it gets converted into your project here. So maybe you can just mark it as won, Ashish. But I'm not sure whether it will allow because there are a lot of fields to be information. Yeah, so we can mark it as won. Actual revenue, you can put that thing across, some numbers there. So now we have marked this opportunity as one. That means this has become an actual project to us. Now this will come to your directly to your projects here. So if you go to the project section, and then we go to the projects. So here we will have the list of all those one which have been marked as won here based on the contracts. Now there are two ways of looking at it. Your line items that are mentioned in your contract, if you want to have all the line items to be coming across into your project, using a workflow, we can directly have all the project automatically created into this system as a project based on the title of that particular sales that we did, and all the line items or all the project service schedules that were briefly described into that particular quotation becomes your project elements into this particular one, or else I can create a new project and add everything from start. So there are two ways of looking at it. Now we will go back to that particular project screen where we left earlier. So Ashish, if you can go to that particular project screen wherein we had these quotations and opportunities. Yeah. So here, if you see the sales section, so this is how your entire sales that we completed in that particular phase and the contract that what we had will come up in this particular section. So when I'm working on the delivery of a particular project, I am very well aware about the project contract that has been agreed with the client and the quotation that was submitted to the client as well. Now, there can be a case wherein when you are basically outsourcing the project to, let's say, a different group of people, or maybe a freelancer, or maybe someone, you will be having some agreements with those freelancers or with those contract as well. So that also can be kind of, we can have those things coming up into this section as well. Now we can go to the expense estimate. So here basically it will give you all the estimates about the expenses that has been put across. So we'll have to add all those things when we are estimating the expense against that particular activity, or a particular activity for a given project. Yeah, so maybe task. So this will be, let's say, talking about a depth of digging, and then the category. Now this is about like adding up the expense estimates here, and now the second tab is about material estimates. So if there are any material that needs to be estimated based on the cost and all, so we can add these values here as well. Yeah. You can click on add material estimate, Ashish. So here all the pricing and everything is pre-configured, and yeah, based on the quantity we fill in, we can actually come up with the values here. So currently it's editable. So based on some kind of rules and policies, if you want the per unit cost to be fixed for a particular material, we can do that as well, which comes from your product master or product master out there in the backend system. Right. Now this is all about like how we go ahead with the project. So if you look again, we have a workflow for this particular project. We starts with the new code, plan, the deliver, and complete and close.
Can I ask something?
Yes, please.
Yep.
How do you create a work breakdown structure here? You work directly here, or you connect this with some other tool?
Could you just repeat your last sentence there? Yeah, Nirav, go ahead.
Yes, Samir, I will take this ahead. So basically, here the WBS in this case is added as a task. So every task that you add over here, you can add a task and a subtask. And that is how the work breakdown structure would be created: a task and a subtask. Yes. So does it answer your question?
Yes, yes. Basically, I want to know if this can be connected with Microsoft Project or some other tool to export it.
Yeah. See, yes, the connection can be done, right? There will be certain customization required, but yes, it can be done.
Okay.
All right.
So I had a question. I had a couple of questions for you. Just wanted to understand. One question is, what kind of project management do you follow? So generally, in your case, means what I am seeing, or based on whatever I have heard, it seems that you follow waterfall kind of project management methodology. Like the project is initially defined, and then based on all the tasks that are defined, you will actually follow those tasks and complete those tasks, right? That is how you are looking out for a project management.
Not always. Not always.
Okay.
Usually that's the case because our contracts are structured like that. But in some of our clients, there might be mid-level or mid-cycle changes frequently, like an agile.
Okay.
So there might be, especially there's one client we have in Germany where they always would like to meet up in a month or two and redefine some activities. So it might change into a bit of not entirely agile, but with frequent replanning. But usually
Yes,
you
yes.
are right. In most cases, it's like what you call the waterfall. You have a defined work plan in the beginning, which you follow, unless there are significant deviations where we might have to replan some resources, reallocate resources, and adjust the work plan accordingly.
Okay.
Yes, so there would
And
be a lot
another,
of readjustment in terms of time planning, and also sometimes resource reallocation. If we don't use the resources within the time, we apply for an addendum or ask the client, and we move or shift resources between budget lines. It can happen, and it
yeah,
happens a lot. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Boss, for government projects, what we understand is generally this is how it happens. There is a project for 1 year, it goes on for 1 to 2 years, and then there are addendums. So that has to be covered. So I understand that, right? The other question I have is that what means how or how many people are going to use this product? Means the actual question I want to ask is that is the end user, is the resource who is actually working on the project, okay, and on whose name you have added the task, is going to update the tasks over here, or is it going to be done by 2 or 3 or 10 people in the office? Uh,
Yeah, that is
is my
something which
question
I
clear
think,
or?
yeah, it is clear, and
Yeah.
I think that's also in line with what Ibrahim was asking. It has to be aligned with our process. So far, every project manager managed their own project. We had something similar, which we call project controlling tool, but every project manager did their own projects, and then we had an aggregate where the section head or whoever is the manager can have has an oversight. So in this case, we
Okay.
have to see whether it is individually or whether, because the way I see it, there will be several projects all in one. So
hmm
how does it work? Do each of different project managers would have their own entry screen, and then they can see, they jointly have an overview, or how does it
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that kind of facility is there. So, for example, if I out of say 50 projects that are running around, I am managing 2 projects, then I will be only able to see 2 projects.
Yes.
So that kind of
Maybe
facility is there in the system. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a follow-up question there. So we saw projects. Can we have accounts? Can we group certain projects together? Or, for example, sometimes we have framework contracts where we have one project, but then under it there are several sub-projects, each of them technically its own thing. So how easily is it here to work with accounts or super projects or whatever?
See, honestly, telling you on that front, it is in any project or in any project management tool. If you have project and sub project, it is basically a bit difficult to handle, right? Uh, but in this case, yes, you can add sub projects. But ideal situation would be that you add sub project in a MS project or some similar tool, and then that sub project to be mapped over here as an individual project, because eventually every individual project's own dashboard should be seen to the project manager, and when you add a sub project, then the dashboard will move out of it. Means you can see a top project dashboard, but sub project dashboard is something which we'll have to then again develop it separately for you. But that is the case. So what I would suggest is that if you have projects and sub projects, you should ideally add sub projects, or say smaller projects in some tool like MS Project, which can be integrated with this, and have a overall view in this particular Dynamics project automation stuff. So this overall view would be there for the management team as MDs, as you are there. So you yourself can have an overall overview of the entire project, and individual sub projects can be managed by individual project managers.
Okay.
Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Arion, you're there, and what are the next steps then?
The next step we have to discuss internally, but in the meantime, we need, because it depends what we plan to implement, and I'm sure that we will have to give some specifications to Ashish and Samir, to see whether we can find a common language for the implementation. We have to see also at some point to see an offer from Samir and Ashish, and see whether this is something that we can afford, and it's something that falls within our within what we want to do, and with what we would like to pay for this. So, but let's discuss it internally first to see and to brainstorm on this interesting information that we got, and then we can translate that on a request for service for Samir and Ashish, and then we take it from there.
Yeah. Just before we continue, just one thing. Can you go back on the sales, the lead? Is it just a list of leads, or is there interactive? Can you link it with calendar, reminders, and so on? Because it's only a list, right?
No, we can link it with this calendar. Okay, so you mean to say, like, want to see the activities for this particular leads?
You have here just the list of the different leads and the topic, time, and so on. But when you open one, can you actually, let me just randomly, what is the information? So you can write information about what you did.
Yeah.
What
So we
else
can
is
go.
there?
Yeah. So meaning what? Okay. So this is the form of this. Again, if you go and Ashish, you can click on plus icon there. Yeah. So this is basically what you can see is all the options available. So
You can link directly. You can phone also. You can send an email from inside here, or can you have to?
No, we can send an email directly inside here. The phone call happens to be outside unless you are integrating this application with a computer telephony integration. So if that is CTI is done, then you can have call directly from your this one. But I believe like Teams call
Based on
also.
others as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have the details section as well. So Ashish, if you can go to details. Oh, before you move to details, let me put across right side. So
but in general, you also have a CRM. I see above customers. Are those in general all your customer relationship? There you, if you go above sales, I see customers and contacts, products. What are those?
So what happens is when you say a lead is something wherein it's just a lead wherein the business has not happened with them. So there is just an inquiry stage wherein the communication is happening with the lead. But when you say customer, so customer happens to be your one which has actually converted from lead to your customer. So the customer sits here. So the one that you are seeing lead is, as a definition of a CRM system, is just a lead wherein the sales interaction is happening. Once the contract signing happens and the purchase order is released, then it comes as a customer. So Ashish, you can go to customers there. So yeah, so this would be a list of all your customers. Maybe you can just click on this one. Yeah, all active accounts. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, understood. Yeah.
Now again, go to the lead there, Ashish. The lead form. So at the right side, you see a stakeholder here. So when we are working on a particular lead, we want to identify as a salesperson that who are all the stakeholders for this particular lead or opportunity. So all these stakeholder information can be put across. And then we have a tab called competitors as well. So for example, in your case, you might want to check on your competitors who are bidding for the same project. So you can have a list of your competitors as well coming up here. So you are aware about like which all competitors you are dealing with for this particular project. So as a synopsis or as a summary of an entire lead view, you can actually have it here. Then we have a detail tab. If you go to the details section, yeah, so this detail section is more again, for example, the description, what is the industry of this, the revenue. Again, this is highly customizable. So if you want to add or eliminate any particular field here, which is not required, or you want to add some additional fields, you can very well do, as a part of customizations here. And then the files. So now if we have SharePoint as well implemented, so Microsoft SharePoint is another product of Microsoft. So the documents which are related to this particular lead are linked with this particular view from SharePoint. So let's say if this is a lead and then I'm working on the RFP document or RFI document, which has been worked in SharePoint, and this lead is basically this particular comes as a pre-integrated with SharePoint and the project automation. So all this document, whatever has are a part of this particular lead would be available into this section, and then it will be available in the SharePoint as well. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Right.
In addition to what Ariel mentioned, is it possible to get access for a certain period just for us to be able to look at it together in the team?
Yeah, certainly. You mean to say trial or something, right?
A trial, yes, a trial.
Yes, we can do that as well. Yeah, for sure. So we can set up a trial for you, and then you can access this. You can play around the system. We'll give you some documentation as well, so your team can go through this document and then can follow the process just to understand about what product capability it has as a default feature, default system.
Exactly. There are a few people who did not join as well today, so we can look at it together. Albano is there with under Albano's. If he gets the access, then he can demonstrate it again, and we can play around with it. Also in line with the processes that we have. Then more questions will come also from other project managers and clarities, and our specific requests. Then we can come back to you with that.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. And then, Ashish, if you can just go to the projects again. So we just want to show them some invoices and stuff there, the resource allocation as well. Yeah. So here they have a kind of a graphical user interface for the schedule board and the resource utilization. Yeah, so here we can see the users here, and then the summary, their availability, their start time, end time. So as in, like, if you want to allocate some task to a particular resource, I can do it very well here. If you expand any of these users here, Rashi, the resources here, yeah, so you'll get the details about all these resources, that if the resource is available, what duration it is available, and how you can book it to that for a particular activity. And then the automation happens as well. So when the moment I click a particular booking for this particular resource, an email and all those information is sent across to the resource. So the resource knows that what he has to work upon, which activity is assigned, what is the time frame that has been given to that resource to complete that activity.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and then we have resource utilization chart as well. So here we can see the resource utilized for a given particular a month or any period. It can be a week, it can be a day, it can be an hour as well. That how it has been how the resource has been utilized for the given period of time, whether the utilization has been to what percent it has been and all. So all these things basically is displayed out here. So as a resource manager, when I'm allocating any particular activity or a task to a particular resource, I can see the availability, I can see the utilization, the current utilization. Accordingly, I can assign the task to the resources here.
So this is for one project, right? This list of people are one project, or what are they?
No, this is for the entire thing, but then you can have it for one project as well. Currently, what we are saying is a resource. Those are entirely available into my system right now. But then, yes, what you said, for a project also we can have this defined. Right, Neerav?
Yes. See, basically, as said earlier, if there is one resource working on two projects, right? So, for example, let us consider there is a person who is like say the accounts guy. He's working on multiple projects. Maybe this is not the right example, but just I'm trying to explain you. He's working on multiple projects. There are multiple tasks aligned for him. So you should understand that how a particular person is divided for a month. Say how his day is divided. He is not over allocated, so that the tasks are not overflown from day one to day second. So for all these understanding, we have to allocate the resource rightly for the right project. So it can be a case that I am working on 3 projects, so I am divided, say for one project my 60% time is taken, and for other 2 projects 20% time is taken. So that entire resource understanding is shown over here, and then you can go to project wise resource allocation, and where you can understand that in a particular project how the resource is basically utilized. Here you are currently seeing that a particular resource, how he is utilized overall in all the projects.
Okay, clear.
Can I ask one more question? How
Yes.
does the resource do time tracking here?
Time tracking means, are you talking about attendance?
Yes. And what I did with a specific task, if it has it.
Okay. See, it's a project management, so you can definitely find out that in a particular day, in a particular project, for a particular task, how many hours he has added. Okay. But honestly, time tracking is not a part of project management.
But
So,
Nirav, hold on. So we have
yeah.
time entries here. So Ashish, we can go to time entries. Yeah. So these are the time entries basically which come across. So let's say we have different projects, and under different projects we have different tasks, and then this task basically entry happens to be from the end user side. So let's say if I have assigned a particular task to a end user, and then he put up time hours there, like he has completed 8, it took 8 hours for him to complete. It comes to your system as a part of workflow, and the manager approves it. Is there something that you're talking about here?
Yeah, but is it related to a specific task on a specific project?
Yes. So you can see here the project, you can see the demolishing construction is one of the project here. And then you have a project task here. The column that what we see.
Yeah, that's the task.
Yeah. And then the task belongs to this particular project.
Mm-hmm.
And then the role of that particular user, the resource, it's a labor project manager, whether it's a subcontract, and then what is the entry status of this, and the period that has been allocated, how much it has been approved, how much hours he has booked, and all. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's okay.
And I believe we have something for the invoices as well here. Let's see. Yeah. So Ashish, if you can go to the sales section again. Here we have the billing section where we have retainers and advances, available retainer, fixed price, milestones, invoices. So we can have track of all those invoices, the project related invoices out there which are generated from the projects that has been completed based on the milestones, based on the task activity completion and all. Yeah, Nirav, you can take it forward now.
Yes. So, okay, just first I wanted to ask that, do you have any questions as of now? Means till now, whatever we have explained in project and in hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Samir?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Samir and the team, I need to drop out because I'm booked for another meeting at 12. But I think the next steps are clear, no? From my side, I mean, if we get this access for a trial period, that we can check it out, and then we come back to you with any questions, other clarifications and modifications that we might request. And then we expect, then, as Ariel mentioned, a quotation, and we can take it step by step.
That sounds like a plan, Ida, for sure.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for your time for this demonstration. I find it very interesting. And I think, yes, we will let us not keep it too long. As soon as you respond to this trial request, we will work with Albano together.
Sure, Ida. By tomorrow, you should
Okay.
have the access. You can start working by tomorrow itself. We'll be giving
Thank you very
the-
much.
Thanks, Ida.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Ida.